Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpatam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Vatarayanam Sutrabhashya Kratau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Matyamam Asmatacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Ishvaro Gururatmiti Murti Beta Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Bukaro Anthakaro Vairukarastan Nivartakaha Anthakara Nirodhitvad Gururitya Vidhiyate. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavathi Tamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Bhagavate Vaivasvataya Mrityave Brahma Vidya Acharyaya Nachiketase Namaha. We are in the Kaṭha Upaniṣad, first chapter, second section, 24th shlokan. What Lord Death given as the traditional teachings to Nachiketas according to his boon what he has asked to Lord Death. Remember, all these teachings from the death is because of the boon what he has asked was relevant. And that boon is not so easy to be asked by an ordinary person because he is an adhikari, a qualified person to the spiritual pursuit. The Lord Death reveals the whole teaching in the systematic manner, and we got Kaṭha Upaniṣad. So the teachings of Lord Yama continues through the 24th shlokan. Already we have seen a part of it, but we will go the entire verse again. I will read the shloka verse and I will give the meaning according to the Shankara's commentary. Na avirato duscharitat na ashanto na asamahitaha na shantamanasaha vapi prajnanena enam apnuyat. The meaning is simple. If you are not qualified, the knowledge about the self will be waiting for the readiness of the individual. That's all. Simple way of understanding the shloka. Keep this inside the mind. Again, I will repeat. If a person is not qualified, the knowledge of the self will be waiting for the readiness of the individual to sprout, to get into work. So, even though an unqualified person goes to a traditional teacher and listen to his teachings, if the person is not at all ready, then the teaching will not be futile. It will be waiting for the readiness of the person who will be getting ready in course of time. The teaching itself will make the person more matured, and also it will help the person to be fit to receive this age. Now I will come to this verse meaning. Na avirataha duscharita. I already mentioned you properly. Still, I will give you the meaning again for the continuity. Duscharitam, natural instinct. By birth, we are all having certain limitations, certain defects in dealing in this empirical world. Most of the people think that this defect as a glory in this empirical world. For example, following the social norms, working for one's own home and family members, working for the individual growth, accumulating money for oneself and also serving for the next generation. All these instincts are considered as a glory of a human being when a person is not informed about self, the Atman, the Brahman, the unlimited consciousness, which is his intrinsic nature. These behaviors are due to the misinformation regarding oneself or not knowing about oneself. One may take granted all the behaviors what we see in the society are to be followed by me. For example, money is the top priority while living in a society. People ask you, what are the things you are having in your life? That means direct question is how much money you have in your life. Oh, I have 3, 4 houses, 5 vehicles, 3, 4 shops, and I'm working in an IT company, and I'm getting this and this as my monthly income. Then people will consider you as a richest person in the society. And money is a top priority for each and every individual, almost from the age of 15 years onwards itself. While money can bring all kinds of happiness in one's life. So the person get converted in a way that how much money I can accumulate in my life without considering which way I get the money. As an individual, as a limited being, as a social being, as a human, my priority is always before the awaken of the knowledge. Always you put inside this bracket. Before the knowledge comes into life, I am ignorant about oneself and my goals. That time, Jiva, the life form, an individual human being, will have a priority to make more and more money so that he can be the richest person, or he can get all comfortable situations you can buy with the money. Now, when you have a goal that to make the money, you don't consider the moral ways sometimes. Very few people consider, I should make money, but it should be in a proper way, not in the shortcuts, not in the immoral ways or illegal ways. Most of the people don't consider the means in which way they accumulate money. Most of the people don't consider. Slowly, this will become a behavior, an impression which is very much strong inside one's mind. The more you find tricky ways to collect money from this world, the more you will become crooked, the more you become selfish, the more you become isolated with all others, because you don't want to discover, you don't want to disclose your business dealings to anybody, how you accumulate money. These are all natural behavior in this world right now. It's not that I'm talking a new information to you. These are all now a casual information regarding a life form. The more money you have to accumulate, you should not share to anybody. That's called selfish. If you share the money daily, what you are earning, then there will be no money to put in your bank account, or you will not have sufficient money to live a comfortable way, because you share the money daily to your family members or the people who are eligible to receive your money. This is how a jiva thinks himself or herself, a human being, and collect the money, and only for his sake only he will spend the money. Then when we study the knowledge about the self, what is meant by self? Self is the consciousness which is all pervading in and through in this whole universe. This consciousness is the essence of this universe. Even though we see different name and forms, the in and through this consciousness is one and the same. This knowledge is totally opposite to your natural behavior. As a life form, right from the childhood, I am very competitive. I am very selfish about my social life. I always consider about my life first, then only I will consider others' life. So, taking granted that I am a human being, my behavior to this entire universe will be odd or very much different from what I am. I will be away in behaving with others according to my natural intrinsic nature, not natural, intrinsic nature. Human beings are many, we know that. Similarly, life forms are many. But really speaking, from the ultimate standpoint of reality, these names and forms really do not exist. Only the one and the only truth which exists in the world is this consciousness. So every life form is a superimposed apparent reality on the truth. So when I know about myself, I know the truth of the entire universe. I will also know the truth of the each and every life form. Like when you visit a pot maker's house and you take one pot, and the intrinsic nature of the pot is just clay, that will help you to know all the pots are nothing but clay. This is an example given by the Upanishad. Similarly, when I come to know my nature, my intrinsic nature is nothing but the consciousness. I am not a human being. I am consciousness, and each and every life form is nothing but the consciousness. The entire universe is nothing but the pure consciousness, which is eternal, which is the source of happiness. My behavior should change because I should see each and every life form as a eternal truth, because this eternal truth is the only thing which is each and everything is been superimposed, in which everything is superimposed. So now I behaved according to my human being's nature right from the childhood up to the understanding of the knowledge of self. Once I understand the knowledge of the self, I should not stay with the information from the book. Instead of staying as an information, I should transform myself. That when a lion behaves like a sheep, and another lion comes and informs that lion, you are not a sheep at all, why you behave like a sheep? Then this lion who was always roaming around the sheep and show inside the well, both faces are much less similar. So he recognized himself that he is not a sheep at all. He is lion. This is a story told by a sage. Similarly, once I recognize myself, I am not a human being, I should give up all these wrong notions which are being pre-existing right from my childhood or before this birth. This whole idea or wrong notions which were left impression before births and births, lot of previous birth we are having while we are taking this human birth. From all the birth, we accumulated different ideas, and these ideas are guiding me in this empirical world. Once we understand I am the all-pervasive Lord, which is never subject to death or birth, my behavior towards the entire universe or my vision towards this entire universe should be according to the knowledge what I got from the traditional teacher. I cannot behave as a human being after studying that I am not a human being, but in fact, I am the cause of this entire world. Remember, I was behaving like a human being up to the teaching occurs in my life. Once I am taught by my traditional teacher that you are not a human being, you are the cause of this entire universe, what we call Brahman or the self. And you are not subject to death and birth. You are the source of happiness. You don't see your happiness through money. You don't see the happiness through any objects in the world. You need not have a craving towards any objects. You just relax. Every happiness, what you accumulate through these objects, are nothing but sorrow. These teachings should make certain changes in the part of the person who listen to the traditional teachings. This is what Lord Yama told here. The person, if at all not ready, the readiness is important. The nature, before knowing the nature of the human being or the intrinsic nature of the human being, one should have the prerequisites. If not, may one change the vision towards the universe and give up the wrong notions after receiving this knowledge. May one give up, may one retire from the behavior of a human being after receiving the knowledge about the self. If not, this knowledge of the self will not be fruitful or will not happen in one's life, even listening 1,000 times from an appropriate teacher. It may wait, this knowledge. So here he says, if the person is not ready to give up the wrong notions regarding oneself after listening the knowledge, the self will not be giving all the fruitful results, the knowledge about the self. What I am saying. Na avirataha duscharita. If the person do not give up the wrong notions regarding oneself as a limited human being, that person may not attain the knowledge of the Atman or will not get the fruitful results of the Atman. Na avirataha duscharita. Because in this world, I will give you a logic. In this world, in one thing, we cannot put two ideas. This is a cow and this is a horse also. We cannot say together. There is no such entity in this world. A cow and a horse. No, not at all. If it is a cow, it's not a horse. If it is a horse, it's not a cow. Similarly, when the Shastra, when the scriptures and the traditional teacher comes to your life and put the idea about your real nature, that you are this eternal Brahman, this Atma, the self, this eternal pure self, then you cannot behave, I am a human being. Only while listening the class, you feel I am Brahman. After that, again, you will become human being. Why? The impressions are very strong inside the mind. Those impressions will make you to behave like a human being, even though you are informed by the traditional teacher. That's why prerequisites are very much essential before listening the Vedanta or the knowledge about the self. That will make the person to receive the knowledge and to act according to the knowledge what you have received. If not, the act will not be according to the information. You cannot react or respond towards the world what you have, according to what you have listened. You will be behaving again the same human being, like you will have the insecurity, you will have the unhappiness, you will have all kinds of selfishness, you will have a lot of anger, you will have a lot of lust and desires. These are all limitations and which are only seen in a human being superimposed idea. Once you understand I am the source of happiness, you never have any laxity of happiness at all. You never feel any insecure while other persons are involved in gathering certain objects around the world in order to make themselves happiness, in order to make them happy. That is what Lord Yama wants to convey through this shloka. That is, one who is not retired from the behavior of a human being or an illimited life form, he will not be attaining the result of the knowledge of self, even though he has listened a lot from the traditional teacher. I already explained last week also, being this relevant, this verse being relevant, I want to explain more, that's fine. Now, na methaya na bahuna shrutena. Metha, a glory of a human being. Understanding a topic properly, keeping that understanding inside the brain, and whenever there is a need, you can recollect and also speak towards others about the subject matter you have received. I already mentioned you three are receive properly, remind properly, and recollect properly in a need. This is called Metha Shakti. Anything you can understand very clearly, anything you can keep as it is what you have listened or studied, and you can recollect it and you can speak to others. This is called Metha Shakti, one of the glory of a human being. But that will not constitute that he will become a jnani, a mukta purusha, a liberated personality. Metha Shakti is a faculty of a human being. It's not a faculty of an Atma Jnana, knowledge about self. You may have the faculty of Metha, brilliance, but that will not constitute that you will be a mukta purusha. You can be a mukta purusha, a liberated soul, after receiving this knowledge. All the metha purusha, the personalities who are very much brilliant in this world, will not become the knowers of the self. There is no such rule. Na methaya. Metha Shakti is a glory of a human being. It cannot be a special reward to become a liberated personality. It is not going to become, see, Metha, that is on the 23rd. I am coming to the 24th. I was explaining the Methaya Bahuna in the 23rd. Now I will come to the 24th verse. I just put the page behind. Sorry. So, coming to the 24th again. Sorry. Na avirataha dushcharitat na ashantaha na samahitaha. This is the word I have to explain. Na ashantaha. One who didn't give up the behavior of a human being is not going to attain the moksha. Similarly, na ashantaha. Shanti. Right now I am talking about the verse 24. I came to the 23rd verse due to the page gone one side back. Okay, now Ashantaha. What is meant by Ashantaha? A person who is restless due to the expectancy and the anxiety in this world. That person is also not going to attain Atman. Remember, karma has its own way of folding and unfolding in everyone's life. Unique way of folding and unfolding. Don't keep a lot of anxiety on the results of karma, because anxiety will make the person restless and he will waste the time because of this anxiety. He cannot do the things which are to be done in the daily life due to anxiety. Expectancy is also another issue. Ashanta. So Lord Death says to Nachiketas, if you don't change the behavior or the wrong notions according to the knowledge, this Atma will not work in your life. The prerequisites also very much essential. If they are lacking, this self-knowledge will not be working in one's life. If a person is restless, then also this knowledge is not going to work in your life. And asamahitaha. This also I explained in the last class. Up to this I explained. Asamahitaha. Samahitaha means mind and intellect goes together, is called samahitaha. You want to do something with your mind, but with your buddhi, the intellect, and you came to know from some social media or from a great giant personality that I should do this in my daily life. But the mind will not allow you to do that because they are in two different directions. Due to laziness, due to the uh, the lifestyle, the diet, lot of things are involved in a personality to the intellect and the mind to go together. It's not very easy. When you come to the pursuit of knowledge, the traditional teachings give you the proper way of a schedule in your life. Your daily schedule should be like this, or you should be fit to follow a schedule in your life. Then your mind and the intellect are almost one and the same. Whatever you think, you can do according to that. Your body, your subtle body, everything is in an alignment. I want to wake up early in the morning at 5 o'clock. The mind says, intellect says, it will be good for your health. Normally, the people who wake up early in the morning will have a sharp intellect. Normally. It doesn't mean that those who wake up at 9 o'clock will not have sharp intellect. It's a general rule. It's very much essential for the studies of any science, not only philosophy. So here Lord Yama says, if your mind and if your intellect are not in alignment according to the knowledge what you have received, or before you come into the knowledge, if you don't do your homework, if you don't acquire your prerequisites, like the mind and the intellect should go together, then it will not be easy to receive the knowledge. Up to this, we saw in the last class. Now we will see the new. Na ashanta manasaha. See, when the senses are not controlled, under our control, normally the people who are in the pursuit of knowledge, will have total control over the food. It doesn't mean that they don't eat tasty food, but there is a timing, there is a proper way of eating, there is a quantity, there is a way of approaching the food. All these things are involved. I'm just talking about the food. Similarly, all our daily routine will be so much regular, in tune with the philosophy. It will be very helpful for a person to have more maturity in one's life. So, control over the senses will only help the person to follow a schedule or a routine. Without the control over the senses or the internal senses, the person will be very much restless, very much not put together, very much in a different way of thinking. They are just like a living, like a cattle, even though they are in the human form. When you follow a routine, when you follow a schedule, according to what you have listened, how you will prepare or fix a schedule once your target is so much clear, then you will fix a schedule or you will fix a routine. Our goal, whenever there is no clear regarding the goal, we don't fix the schedule. It's very important. Ashanta manasaha. Because normally the world will be always giving different types of tasks and difficulties in our daily life. We will be always repairing or fixing these all kinds of difficulties. In between, we will have some time and we will go to the traditional teacher and we will listen certain words from the scriptures which will be giving certain amount of peace in the mind. But really speaking, the more you are focusing your goal through the traditional teacher or according to the scriptures given by the traditional teacher, the difficulties will not have any effect in your life. They will always be back because you have a schedule, you have the understanding of your goal from the traditional teacher. That will help you to be in tune with the knowledge of the self, which is the source of happiness. Once you have the understanding of the source of happiness, there is no unhappiness in your life. So for that, one should fix the schedule, one should fix the routine according to the knowledge what you have received. That only make the person to get control over the external senses and the internal senses. What is not to be done, you should not do. This is the control over the external senses. What is not to be thought, you will not think about that. This is the control over the internal senses like mind, intellect, etc. Both are prerequisites, really speaking. If you don't have the prerequisites, after coming to the pursuit of knowledge, one should work on that to get these prerequisites in one's life. Doing meditation, doing yoga, keeping the values in one's life, following the ethics, living a moral life, all these things make the person more mature and to get more focus in the knowledge. Unless you focus, the knowledge will be a future event. It will not immediately work in one's life. So, Ashanta Manasaha, a person who is restless and no control over the senses externally and internally, these prerequisites, if you are lacking, then prajnaneva prajnanena enam na apnuyat. This Atma is not attainable by listening 1,000 times, I will give you whatever I have said in one single sentence. If you didn't change the wrong notions in one's life after listening to the Vedanta regarding the human being, this is a prerequisite actually. Regulation in one's life, smoking, drinking, company, all these things are a part of a human being. But once you come to the spirituality, these things are to be slowly given up. This is what viratam, to be retired from all these things. When you are doing something relevant, irrelevant things you have to give up. If not, they will bug you, they will consume your time, which is very precious, which will not help you to stay in this pursuit completely. So, may one change regarding the behavior of human being? If not, the Atma will be a future event. Knowing Atma will be a. Na ashantaha, if the person is not peace, who is having expectancy and anxiety regarding the work and some other things in the life, then also the knowledge of Atma will be a future event. Even though if you listen from the traditional teacher, it will not be helpful in one's life. Then asamahitaha, the person's mind and intellect are in two different ways. He think once, he do once, and he will be just fallen inside this empirical world without having the things in an alignment. It will not work also in this empirical world, not only in the spiritual world. If you are not in an alignment, you don't keep the words what you have promised for others. You don't do the work regularly. All these things are due to the laxity of the alignment of mind and intellect. If this alignment is missing also, knowing Atma will be a future event. They will not be getting the knowledge and the results of Atma. And Nashanta Manasaha, the person who doesn't have the control over the senses and also doesn't have the control over the internal senses, then also this person will be lacking the results of the knowledge of Atman. This is the meaning of this verse. And this is what Shankara also says, that Dushcharita means the misbehavior, means the social behavior that I am a human being. I have done certain things. My priority will be collecting money from this world. All these priorities should be slowly changing, and the person should go according to the knowledge of the Atman. This is what this verse say regarding the prerequisites are essential before entering to the knowledge of self. If not, while listening itself, one should practice the prerequisites. This is the meaning of the slogan. Next slogan. I will read and I will give the meaning. We have 10-15 minutes more. Yasya brahma cha kshatram cha ubhe bhavataha odanaha mrityuhu yasya upasechanam kaha ittaveda yatra saha. Once more I will read. Yasya brahmacha kshatrancha ube bhavataha odanaha mrityuhu yasya upasechanam kaha ittaveda yatra saha. Another very interesting verse. I should give some background to understand this verse. Human beings are classified into 4 groups according to their daily works and their natural behavior. According to the traditional scriptures, human beings are classified into four. Suppose a person is always interested to do righteous actions, very helpful for others, do services for the society and the world, always will be pleasing with their behavior while dealing with others. These type of people are called in the traditional teaching Brahmanaha, a person who can see the intrinsic nature oneself and also what is there in others. So the person will be always doing the righteous deeds. What is right, appropriate, that only they will do. They are called Brahmana. A person who is always involved in helping others through prayers or doing certain services or seeking help for the entire humanity through his own prayers. These type of people are called Brahmanaha according to the traditional scriptures. There will be all around the world these type of people. One who is always having a big heart, who have space to accommodate each and everything in this world. Next, Kshatriya, another group of people who is interested to protect others, like army people, soldiers, police. These type of people are always like a vigilant warrior for others. They help others by protecting from all kinds of calamities and enemies. They don't do any prayers or any righteous. They have this value that they will protect others from all kinds of issues. They are called Kshatriyaha. So first group of people are called Brahmanaha, who are always involved in righteous deeds and prayers. The second group of people are called Kshatriyaha, who are always involved in protecting the others. The third group of people now, Vaishya, who has always a tricky mind, business mind. He brings certain things from the outside country or from another village, which is very much essential for this village, and it is a necessary thing. He will buy from there and he will bring to his house and he will sell to others and he will earn some money. A complete businessman. First group of people who are always involved in righteous deeds and prayers. Second people are army, police, warriors, etc. Third group of people are called business people, Vaishya. These people always collect things from outside and they keep in front of them and they will sell to others according to their needs, keeping a small amount what he has buy on the rate what he has brought. They are called business people and they have a technical name called Vaishya. Brahmanaha, Kshatriyaha, Vaishya. Then the fourth class of people are called Shudraha. These people are always ready to serve others. An engineer will be assisted by these type of people. For a chef in a big hotel, they will be assisting by cutting vegetables, bringing water, putting fire for the stove, all kinds of services they will do. They don't have the capacity to go along with one work by taking responsibility. Instead of taking responsibility and doing some work, they will always work under somebody. They are not interested to take responsibility and to work with oneself. They always work under others. These type of people are called Shudra. Fourth class of people, 4 groups of people you will see in this entire world. Anybody in this world will fall under one of this group. Whether it's a person who is a well-wisher for others, whether it's a person who is a warrior, whether he's a businessman, whether it's a person who is always ready to only for help. He cannot think himself, but he can do certain things for others all the time. When they say they will do the exact thing as we asked to them. This type of 4th class. So here in this shloka, Lord Death says, this Brahmana and Kshatriya, the first 2 groups of people are just like the main course of the dish for the Brahman. The rice or the other porridge will be the main course in a plate. Odana means rice. For the Brahman, for this unlimited consciousness, the Brahmanaha and the Kshatriyaha are just like the main dishes. That means he is the eater of the all actions and the results of the Brahmana and the Kshatriya. That means this Brahmana and the Kshatriya is working under the Brahman, or their work is very much small or less compared to the activities which are going around the world due to the presence of Brahman. We think that Brahmanaha are the glorified people. They are the most significant people in this world because they do selfish actions for others. But compared to this Brahman, Brahmana and Kshatriya are the main course. Just a small amount of food for Brahman. Whatever their activities they are doing are just like main course, a rice for Brahman. Means even that type of works are very much negligent, very much insignificant compared to Brahman. The work of a Brahmana or the work of a Kshatriya are very much insignificant when we compare to the ultimate consciousness. You should extend for others also, because Brahmana and Kshatriya are the main groups compared to the all these groups, all these four groups. Brahmana and Kshatriya are the major groups. Even that group is like a rice, a small amount of rice for the Brahman. What to talk about other 2 groups like Vaishya and Shudra? Nothing is there. The idea is this: one should understand Brahman as the central theme or the king or the leader of Brahmana and Kshatriya, or the entire universe is pervaded by the consciousness. By the consciousness, this small group of Brahmana and Kshatriya working, and they are just like the rice for this Brahman. And Mrityuhu, he say, third line, Mrityuhu yasya odhanam, Mrityuhu yasya upasejanam. The side dish is the death. Death itself says that I am nothing in front of Brahman. I am just a side dish for Brahman. My capacities and my eligibilities, when I compare to Brahman, I am just like a side dish for the Brahman. While the Brahmana and the Kshatriya are the main dish for the Brahman, I am just a side dish for the Brahman. This way of understanding can only happen in a qualified person, on a fit personality, an adhikari, a person who has already accomplished the prerequisites. Then only he can understand the Brahman in the clean way. If not, we will stick with the small, small things in the life. Brahmana's activity, Kshatriya's activity, say the death and birth, etc., etc. My body, small, small things will be very much important when you don't know the bigger thing in the world. So, Lord Yama conclude this. Who can understand like this Brahman, who is the eater of Brahmana and Kshatriya, and also the death will become the side dish for this Brahman. Only one person can understand who has prerequisites, appropriate prerequisites before coming to the knowledge of pursuit of knowledge. All others will miss the obvious. This is what he wants to convey. We are going to talk about more about this shloka in the next class. Then only I will conclude and I will go to the third section. We will stop here and we will continue in the next class. Om Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Gobrahmanebhya Shupamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshadu Parjanyaha Prithvi Sasya Shalini Deshoyam Kshoparahitaha Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaha Sarve Bhavantu Sukinaha Sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet, asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya, om purnamadah purnamidam purnat purnamudachyate, purnasya purnamataya, purnameva vashishyate, om shanti. Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.